Hi, hello and welcome, Cosmic Quantum Travelers. It's me again. I wanted to come online and share a few things. There's a lot to be tired with, for, and excited for at the moment as we are preparing for the final quantum leap in the collective consciousness to a new time space coordinate into the one true organic ascension reality. That's what I'm seeing anyway. So I'm just going to share a few insights of what I see currently unfolding, a few navigational tips, and trying to bring in the bigger picture to try and bring more understanding to everything that is unfolding from my perspective. So take what resonates and leave the rest, as usual. Now, currently we're going through some really powerful timeline adjustments. What I'm seeing, and I've been writing about, is that overall we are merging all timelines, all incarnations, all dimensions into one reality experience. So someone asked me earlier about the whole timeline thing, because I said I wouldn't use the word anymore. Now I might still do it here and there, but generally I want to move to the word reality, because it's not going to be linear anymore and we're not going to have so many running simultaneously. So I just had something coming up on my laptop. Anyway, so basically what I see is unfolding for us, becoming available, is think an organic version of the metaverse. So time will be very different. I mean, in general, for me, time has really changed a lot. It's a coordinate now. It's one long, eternal now moment. So really present in the now with what's in front of us. Not, constantly thinking of the past or the future, which is the monkey brain, which we used to do. So the now moment and the multidimensional access happens in no time. Okay, so time's a coordinate. It's like kind of where are you at what time? It's like a coordinate. Okay, so we try and move away from the whole, it's the next, solstice or activation or this and that. It's really always potentially available and accessible in the now moment, because time truly is an illusion or a 3D concept where we now learn how to bend time and work with time, and many of us are already doing it, such as me. I work with timelines a lot. We all do this all the time, and they're really held also in our DNA. So that's coming online really big now. So I'm seeing a collective DNA sequence unfolding. So we're collectively, because also the frequency net is down, which is why now the DNA can unlock and the high dimensional frequencies can come in to unlock the DNA, which they try to prevent, obviously, very hard lately. And sorry, just I have a stupid thing on my laptop. I hope everybody can see fine. So anyway, I can't see any comments, just so you know, guys. That's not working right now. I see some people are watching, so I keep going. So anyway, so the powerful timeline adjustments, it's basically blending and merging past, present, and future in the now. And some might be able to access this awareness more consciously right now. So it's really the past and the future coming together in the present now moment. And all the fallen timelines are falling away and literally dissolving, whilst the paths that are like the higher consciousness timelines and the parts that are useful we keep and create a whole new reality experience, okay, which will be based in quantum time. Now, how exactly that's going to look, I'm looking forward to find out myself. I might get more information on that. At the moment, that's all I'm going to share on that part. Now, so we have a lot of solar activity assisting everything, bringing the DNA online and clearing what needs to be cleared now. The rest of the stuff we still need to shift. And so we've been having a lot of solar flares ever since the 12/12 constantly. It's really a C-class baseline at this point. And we also have geomagnetic storms briefly early on. We're missing actually some, which is also actually a sign of timeline shifts. So there's one way or another a lot of timeline shifts going on and data coming online for the new reality, okay, which is ultimately unlocking from within our DNA, because our DNA is the film strip to our realities. It holds the data to our multidimensional self, and therefore also the realities, because it's really all interconnected with that, and the solar activity is helping us with that. Also a lot of Schumann resonance spikes today, assisting us, again also connected to the timeline edits, and also it's always every year, I mean December in general is very intense energetically, but especially the time between the solstice and then the first week of January is always energetically, we're getting a lot of downloads and activations, especially to our DNA. And this year it's really, I mean, we're chopping out of time here, but super amplified. Yeah, I think we can all feel this in one way or another. So it can be very expansive. We can be going through a lot of deep clearings. It's kind of both. And we really need to get used to the expansion contraction, as in just embrace whatever comes, flow with it, be in the flow state, and let it flow through and out of you. Now we still need to look where we still have work to do, of course. Your feelings will tell you, I mean, you know what to do. I'm not going to go into detail now how we do shadow work, but generally just embrace it, just feel it all. You just have to feel it. That's just so important. Okay, anything suppressed needs to come up and out, because when we are being oppressed, we need to stop suppressing in order to bring all this up and out. And this will also then stop the outer oppression. Okay, at least that's what I'm being shown, because everything is interconnected. Everything we do here in this life is interconnected with your higher dimensional self, and it's interconnected with everything we see going on out there. So again, whatever you see missing out there, try and bring more of that in to this reality, okay? And be the change you want to see in the world. Because that's what your reality is ultimately showing you. That's what it's there for. It's a mirror, not ultimately always showing you what you are, but whatever you need in your experience to expand further. So there's a lot to anchor and hold and activate right now, especially for grid keepers and gatekeepers, okay? We're all the stargates, we all are this. Some are just more conscious of it than others, and that's also why we're in all these different locations all over the world, in order to hold the frequency of the higher consciousness and to literally anchor the frequencies in these activations available into the grids, into the planetary body, and share this then collectively with the field, the collective consciousness field or shield, however you want to call this. Now be aware of any interference that is going to try and push you off your path right now or put you in doubt, okay? There are some last attempts, of course. This is the finale, okay, in no time. Even if I speak for it for a week, even if I'm going to do this for another month, I don't think it's going to come to this, but ultimately, okay, this is the last push, and obviously there are going to be some last tests and challenges being put in our way, which also help us to step further and further into our power, into our discernment, and into our boundaries, okay? Knowing what is good for us, who is good for us. You don't really want to have negative people around you right now if you're trying to manifest new earth. That's all I'm going to say. So clear your field. That's, a big thing anyway, always. As we said before early on in the week, the gremlins, need to cut them off in all ways, shapes and forms, energetically in your personal life, okay, right now, super sovereign, energetic field, okay? So, you decide what you allow in there and what not. Relaxation is absolutely key to allow for these healing frequencies and upgrades to come in and do their work in the most comfortable way possible. That's also how it moves more quickly. On this journey, you will sleep and rest a lot. And that way you also don't get into too much trouble, actually, to too much drama, because we clear a lot and we process and integrate a lot during sleep time and during rest time, okay? So this is actually sacred work. Remember, everything is in reverse here, okay? So there's no lazy whatsoever. Now, that doesn't mean that we just wait and not do anything either. It's both and. We integrate all of these aspects, what we know when we do and when we are being. You know, there's a time for everything, and we also need to get up and move the energy with our body, however that's possible. Sometimes we might have weeks where we cannot get up and do nothing much at all. It depends. Every person is different, every day, every moment is different, but now, where before things have taken weeks and months to process, it's much quicker. So really, quantum Godspeed, all of this is happening. So be open to miracle healings. Again, this is the inner technology coming online. Don't even wait for med beds. It's happening within you. Okay, your body can do this. This is the ultimate technology that we now bring online. Connect with this. Connect with your soul. Ask for the instruction manual. Ask for the instruction sets, because they are available now. They just come in drips and drabs, but there's a lot of clarity, a lot of memories, gifts, abilities, all coming online right now. And we really have to use them, because they are our abundance. They are our gifts. And we haven't really stood in full confidence and our power and really used them, because also, yes, old lifetimes, we have been persecuted for speaking our truth and using our gifts and abilities, but this is done now. You need to believe in that. Obviously, you need to get to a place in yourself first where you feel safe to do that, you know, each one in their own divine timing. But ultimately, this is the time now for us not to stand back, but to step forth, stand tall, shine bright, use your gifts and abilities. More will come online. This is what all of this is connected to. Once our memories all come back online, our gifts and abilities, this is fully done. I mean, it's done, and it's done. But we keep making it happen at every step of the way. Nothing is ever done, as in there's always more expansion, you know, and obviously, again, there's also contractions. But ultimately, this is a journey of ever expanding consciousness. So you always, you know, have more expansion to do and you know, further things to explore. So there's no ultimately right or wrong, but listen to your inner guidance system above all else. This is what all of this is for. You are your own highest authority. Don't listen to the naysayers, the ones who try to put in doubt. This is on purpose. Grow in your confidence and what you're getting is intuition. Try and share it with others. Be in service to others when you can. Also for our own healing journey, you know, it's always, when I work with people, we, you know, nobody's perfectly, you know, fully healed as such. Again, you know, healed, we are all ultimately whole, but it's more of all bringing and integrating all of these pieces and becoming consciously aware of them so they feel safe again. That's what's happening right now. It's the multidimensional integration. When I speak about grounding, it's an integrating into this reality here of your multidimensional self, which is coming online huge right now. It's really powerful and something to be present with, and to call back your multidimensional self, purified and healed, and really call this forth, ask for it, pray, however this comes natural to you, okay? Now, this is a time really where we're going to open up our hearts wider than ever before. This is the time, because ultimately the crystal activation I see is very much connected with the crystal core, and is connected to our crystal heart grid, the human heart grid, but also our own hearts, and an activation of that. And that means more love, because this is all about love ultimately. And this is not a lovey-dovey love, okay, that doesn't know her boundaries or his. It's a love that's, you know, sometimes tough, it's gentle, it's all kinds of things, okay? But it knows discernment and it knows its boundaries. So it's though the love and the openness of the heart that unlocks your multidimensional self, because this is where your soul moves in again, your high heart, permanent seed atom, that's where it all unlocks. And the open heart is what makes it all possible. That's why the negative aliens have what they call a black heart affliction. It closes down their heart, they can't feel feeling, hence psychopathic narcissism. So we want to be very much connected between our mental and emotional bodies, because that's also where a split has happened. So we need to be fully integrated with all of these levels. And this is what's happening right now, okay? So a lot to be present with and to integrate. And I also see that the twin flames are very much key to bring the new grid system online, because they're really symbolizing the original split in a whole certain keys and codes, especially Edenic golden timeline codes, because this is kind of where we were turning back to the golden timelines, but with corrections and with our lessons learned. So it's like kind of going back to the start where the split happened. And because we're returning to a timeline, as I'm seeing, before all of the intergalactic and planetary catastrophes happened. So it's totally healing these timelines, but we will know what has happened, and we'll have learned some lessons and picked up some new keys and codes. But the twin flames, as I see, these divine unions are really the core, because first of all, of course, it's the divine inner union. But then if two people come into divine union, whilst then divine union with themselves, then it's really divine union with all of life everywhere, with God in physicality, the closest you can come. Okay? That's how I'm seeing it. And we all have that, whether you resonate with that term or not. I'm not too fixated on terms and how to, I'm not pigeonholing it. And each journey, each relationship, each person is different. But overall, I do see they carry a very important role, also with in regards to polarity integration. And really, as we open up our hearts so wide and learn to live the person that most annoys us in this world, we really learn to love all life everywhere, because this is what At-One-ment is about. It's total love and reverence for all of life everywhere. That's where we're returning to, where we do have love and compassion for the negative alien agenda people. Even if they've done so much harm, it doesn't mean we let them get away with it, but it means we can really truly forgive and let go. And that's such a huge key to everything, the forgiveness. And ultimately, that comes back to our own forgiveness within. Because any person I've ever judged or ever hurt in my life, it has always come back to me. What we sow, we reap. It really is. That's the law of one ultimately in action, okay? Cause and effect. So whoever I ever judged, I would then see later on, either it's something I catch myself doing later on, or then, oh, I used to be like this. And it's still something within me that needs a further integration and healing and coming to peace with. Every time. I've tested this plenty. I still haven't come across a situation where this wasn't the case. So try it out in your own life and see if it fits. And as we hold a space for the other people who are maybe, not as far on their soul's journey and growth as we are, then we are here to hold a space for their healing, because as we can see them as perfectly imperfect and just, making their own mistakes, because God ultimately is allowing us through His unconditional love to make the mistakes we came here to do in order to learn from our own experience. The same as you would do to a child. You can't wrap it in cotton wool. You need to let it touch the flame, because if you say, oh, that's hot, it will still touch it one day, so it knows what fire feels like. And that's kind of what we're doing here on a large scale. But now that the experiment has come to an end and the one consciousness can now come to union, conscious union within, and resolve its own psychosis, because this is a collective psychosis, because just a sick mind creates that kind of reality. So we're healing the mind within ourselves through also the heart, obviously. Higher heart-mind connection, okay? Because the mind without the heart obviously doesn't create so well. So, but it's the unification of the one heart-mind, okay? The masculine, the feminine, and these faculties. So, and also the right and the left brain. We're unifying all of this. It's not one or the other. It's the polarities unified and balanced without the friction between them. So I definitely feel there's so much coming online right now. I felt today like a kid before Christmas. You don't know quite when Christmas Day is or what you get, but it's like all the biggest dreams are going to come true, and even bigger than this, and I don't need to know, and I just need to stand in awe and wonder and, keep listening to the guidance, keep being in flow, keep being present. But I know it's going to be amazing. Like, it's just huge things coming online. gifts and abilities, clarity, telepathy through the roof. It's just everything is synchronizing, everything is aligning, everything is in flow. There's no stress. That's the groundedness as well, as I'm saying. Because before I used to always feel so ungrounded until I realized it's like all these, because I'm so multidimensional, so it's all these pieces flying around in my energy field that you have then to heal all of these traumas and wounds from so many lifetimes and then reintegrate all of these pieces back in, obviously many layers to this, to now come to this multidimensional merge. It's like, oh, finally, this is what it feels like, not this constant nervousness anymore. So I'm just saying, if you don't feel this yet, believe me, I've been through so many years shit shifting and feeling ungrounded and being through really crappy things, okay? Like, I know what I talk about. I'm transmute a lot. So if I can do it, you can do it too. If you would have told me years ago that I would be able to meditate and do what I do now, I would have never believed you. I had a total monkey brain, totally stressed out, so emotional, so imbalanced, all of these things, okay? I've made many experiences and I've come to tell the tale. And that's the hero's journey. Because, again, we're ultimately here to heal ourselves. As we heal ourselves, we heal all others. That's the hero's journey. It's not about, or the savior complex. It's not about, I'm here to heal, like rescue or save everyone. No, we are doing this as one. But I also know I am the one, which is, and you are the one. I'm here to remind you that you are the one. We all potentially, or we are all part of the one, and we are the one. And through us and our self-actualization, we shift everything. Everything we do, everything I share, I know it constantly creates ripple in the time-space continuum. That's why I do what I do, not just because of that, many reasons. But that what gives me a buzz. It's like dropping a bomb in the in the field sometimes. So it's really fun. And that's what we came here for, to play with this reality, to be the energy alchemists and to make the shift happen, but not controlling it. There's nothing to control here, especially right now, okay? This is like, but it's both. It's not just waiting for God or, some aliens to come down and rescue us. No, we are them. We are God embodied. It's not something outside of us. It's us here, incarnated in the flesh, being God source's boots on the ground. And He can't make it happen without people like us making it happen. And everything we do has an effect. Even if just one person reads your post and gets an activation from it, or like a little piece, because we're all giving each other pieces and codes and keys all the time. Okay, this is why this is a whole huge orchestration. It's like big puzzle pieces coming together. But we all need to bring the puzzle pieces together. So don't stand back and hold in and keep the secrets to yourself. Try and share them as guided, of course. Not, we don't need to have verbal diarrhea. Huh? But, we don't need to disclose everything, of course, as and when guided. But I'm just saying, come out of the spiritual closet if you haven't already, because this is the time to stand tall and be that change and normalize all of this stuff, So another big message that came through was that even if others decide to ascend to a different reality than ours, as this huge shift is happening now, we will still be able to visit and have contact with them. And also be able to see again the ones that have passed. Because this is the dropping of the veil. Because the disconnection, the separation, and death are the part of the ultimate illusion. So, the consciousness never dies. It's always around us and it's timeless. So how exactly that's going to physicalize, I don't know. But that was the big message that came through today and I wanted to share, because I know people do worry about their loved ones. Ultimately, you need to be in unconditional love. Let them have their experience. Okay, and because the more you push someone, the more you're fearful for them, the more actually it goes the other way around. It's like an energetic thing. When you are pushy, they then go back. Have you ever, like when you told a child, or your parents maybe told you don't do drugs, has that ever worked, for example? So I'm just saying, maybe don't do reverse psychology. Just tell them, I wouldn't do that, but give them the freedom. We all need to have the freedom to choose ourselves. And now we're going to get to know what real free will is, because so far you can't really call this free will with all the mind control that has happened. need to keep that in mind, and all the other interference on many, 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 many layers and levels. So what I've also been seeing, the multidimensional merge is really also us merging with our aurora, diamond, rainbow, plasma light body self. So it's really 12D plus. So it's really the full activation of our 12-dimensional silicate blueprint that's coming online now and is activating really rapidly. And this is also the planetary body merging with Aurora Earth, which is the 12D Aurora Ascension Earth blueprint. And this is all happening at an energetic level. Because the way I'm seeing it, you need to connect all the levels, all the way up. It's not just 5D. You need to connect and heal all the dimensional layers and levels, which we've been doing, in order to reconnect back to source. So it's all or nothing. That's how I'm seeing it. Okay, but I feel the reality of moving into will be more what we can imagine as a 7-dimensional version of Earth, like a Gaian version. But I don't even like to, put a number or all of these things on it as such. When I said I will not use the, I said this already. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah. Time and space are a matter of perception and part of the illusion. So it helps us to conceptualize and compartmentalize, but again, it's ultimately for us to now go timeless and in no time. This is where you get multidimensional access. And I see myself moving in a bubble. So if you also think about, even time travel or space travel, you know how they're like portals between certain points on the planet and certain moons or areas within the galaxy where you can literally go from one point to the next within a millisecond instead of traveling for millions of years. So ultimately, this is possible the way I'm seeing it because you're in your own energetic bubble. Space as such is also an illusion, the same as time in a sense, or it's just a concept for us to conceptualize the realms, the realities. So ultimately, you're not moving anywhere in that kind of travel. If you would imagine now teleportation from here to let's say Sirius, okay, it's you are shifting your consciousness to the time space, but you're not actually moving your body because it's all within your sphere, 360 degrees all around you. That's the best way I can put it into linear human words. They are very limiting lately. I'm looking forward to the telepathy, I can tell you that much. On this note also, I'm sorry, I'm still not really in getting back to messages. I just, at the moment, can't. I just need to be fully present with this, and as and when I can, I will, as much as I can, okay? So please, thank you so much for your messages just right now. I need to focus on other things. So also, you are the Stargate. Okay, your heart is ultimately the Stargate, and this is what is connecting you with all and everything simultaneously. So you don't need to travel through a Stargate or a portal. You are the Stargate. Your Merkaba light body is the Stargate. Okay, your fully activated light body will be your teleportation portal. That's what I'm seeing. So what I saw today as well, huge new frequency spectrum of the diamond, white, platinum crystal. So there was a huge activation again. I've been working with this in my activations that I brought online for people to join, also with the group call a week or so ago. And this came in huge today, massive. So I see a lot of platinum, white, diamond light and iridescent plasmas coming in. And they're really clearing a lot of the remaining reversals. And I just wanted to read out a little part from Ascension Glossary to understand what that really does, the platinum ray. So it acts as a harmonic stabilizer of the planetary grid to interface with the parallel realities and align the matter realms with the antimatter realms. That was huge today. So the whole antimatter energy and realms coming into the matter form, okay? So you're merging matter and antimatter. And it offers protective strength to the human biological crystal and the planetary crystal core through the access made to run the highest available coherent energy current, which harmonizes the grid through the merge of particle and antiparticle. So it's a balance. It balances and heals the feminine principle light body connections to initialize the higher heart complex and silicate matrix. So this is what's really coming online huge right now. So this whole crystalline grid activation, which I also said a crystal, Christ oil mass, which I see, which is unfolding now between the solstice and January, or in no time really, but right now, which is coming online huge, and it's being supported by this platinum ray crystal activation, which a lot of us indigos or starseeds also carry and anchor into the field, because it's bringing in the harmonization of the polarities of the masculine and feminine. And it also clears out all the reversals and the AI from the planetary grids, from our own, the mind control, AI signals, all of that stuff. So that's what it plays a huge role in. And it's also connecting in with the collective DNA activation sequence upgrades that I was speaking about. Then she writes further, the sun disks. So this is also connected to the sun disk network, okay? And there are vortices connected on the Earth grid that interconnect with these stellar networks on multiple planes of reality. It is similar to viewing a holographic projection of the cosmic map of the celestial bodies and stars. Essentially, through the connection with the sun disks on the Earth grid, it is possible to travel intergalactic highways of coherent, crystalline solar light that allows for consciousness transport to other dimensions. The sun disks are being sequentially activated through the changes that have transpired in the planetary star shifts, in the planetary axial tilt, the change in rate of spin, matter and antimatter converging in transmission of an assortment of crystalline frequencies. So as I just said, it's also purging the remaining AI signals, artificial signals of mind control, materials, negative alien machinery, and bringing this perfect balance into the field between the polarities. So this is then also anchoring further the 0-point field in the Trinity, so the tri-wave, which is the new unity grid current, okay, the new crystalline grid current. So from this distorted bipolar polarity current, we are now moving to Trinity, which is where you have the polarities, but they're unified or they're harmonized and balanced out. There's no more friction between the two through the third energy, which is neutrality and divine love, the 0-point field. So this is really bringing our inner and outer grid systems online huge. And the crystals in the Earth grid and in our bodies, so especially in our blood, in our bones, fascia and skin, are being activated through this as well. And this is what brings also the true memories online, okay, and obviously turning us from carbon to crystalline. So huge crystallization happening at the moment, and then also the memories coming online, and it's really happening at quantum God speed. And this is like this platinum ray wave coming in today, not even a wave, an avalanche, tsunami, is really cutting through the last bit of crap okay, on the grids to have us fully ready for the final activation, which I was talking about. It's very much connected to the crystalline core. I do believe it comes through a solar flare or some type of flash type event, connecting to the crystalline core through the grids, destabilizing the artificial geomagnetic field of the Earth. We do have a protective shield, okay, so don't worry about that. It's a plasma shield. So there will be something coming in place instead, which is the new. So do not worry about catastrophic events. I do not see that coming, at least. And always be careful what you prepare for, what you manifest, okay, because there are a lot of sources out there that want you to manifest catastrophic timelines, although that's really has no more gas, okay, like this is all generally finished. They can just try and hype something up, but if you can see, even the Omicron thing, it's not even working. So that's totally lost its energy and power there, which is nice. Well done. Okay, we're getting there. Almost no fear state possible, which is the no fear means fully release of this false fear matrix. Okay, it's literally based on fear-based thought forms. Okay, they can only control you if they keep you in fear. So, and whenever you push through any major fear, it's literally a quantum jump. You will feel your whole being activating. Okay. So this is the time to quantum jump and risk it all. You know, if you get the guidance to do anything, only you know, but don't hold back now. Don't hold back now. So I also could see today a collective Christ consciousness activation unfolding, so like golden white balls descending into the heart of people and then into the energy fields. Like, lovely. Very, very nice. What's coming online is just so beautiful. And Sunday I woke up with the frequency of equality. So it's really that this has fully been anchored now. So there is no more, this competition in the field is gone, and the gender wars, the gender disharmony and the competition that goes on there. Okay, which goes really deep on a deeper level. That goes back from why in between matriarchal and patriarchal societies and so forth, because neither of these, is obviously the solution. It's about equality and unity. And that's where we're coming into now. And this is why these divine unions are so important, because if you think about it, these agendas are also very anti-family-like. So the family, if you think about it, is the core of any society. So if you destroy the family unit, you destroy the core of society and functional society. I mean, it's already distorted enough so far as it was. So bringing in these new templates is what creates, first of all, from our own, we need to have the right relationship within the self, love ourselves. I mean, we all know this. And then when we can magnetize or come together with the right divine partner who's also doing their work, then you can create, it just on an energetic level, it shifts the whole collective. Yeah? Think of the Matrix. Like, let's paint some rainbows. So, for those who have seen it or not, anyway. Now, so as I said, I see a massive activation of the human heart grid, the crystal core and the grid system, shifting the poles. So it is, on one level, it's the axial tilt, which is platinum ray information I just talked about. So, the Earth has a slight axial tilt. Okay, so it's not straight, it's slightly to the side. And this is not natural. So this has been also tempered with, the same as the magnetosphere. So this is correcting now. So we can point true north, so away from the black hole system feeding, and reconnecting with source and also through Andromeda. And this is our true north, our true connection. And this is all connected with the poles, and then the right energy flows flowing through us. If you want to hear a little bit more about that, check out my last video. And basically, this is also what's happening in our own energetic system. So we are reconnecting to source. It's eternal life source flow return. It's vitality. It's us. So far we've been living in this energy siphoning system where everybody's just exhausted. No wonder, because that's sucking our energy all the time and everything is very stressful. But just imagine what it would be like to breathe fresh air. We'd be running around like, high on something, because it would just be such an elevated feeling. Fresh water, living water. Just keep merging, right now with your multidimensional self, with your avatar self. Know that you are the avatar in a game. The game analogy is very good, really. I've had dreams about this. So you're in the game, you're the avatar, because that's what we're stepping into now, in the embodiment, which brings everything else online. And you're the player, you're the avatar, you're holding the game control, but you're also now starting to remember what you wrote into the game on how to get to the next level of what you need to do within the game. So we still need to now listen to what we might need to do individually to make the shift fully happen. Because everything is this. Okay, anything, it's like the butterfly effect. It's like anything can shift the whole field at any moment in time. Okay, so keep listening of what you need to do, what is your mission right now. Might not be anything. It can be anything, okay? Everybody needs to, that's why the guidance from your own soul and higher self is the most important. Nobody can tell you this. And also because it's so quantum right now, it's in the now moment. So what was right one moment might not be right anymore the next moment. And that's also multidimensional living. Each moment requires maybe a different response depending on who you're with, what's happening, what energy you're in. Okay? There's never just one right or wrong answer. It's you bringing all of your pieces together, and you need to keep listening to your intuition and inner guidance and wisdom above all else, because that's us resurrecting the divine feminine and us, taking our inner wisdom and that intuition, which is quantum access and knowledge beyond the linear mind that has been mind controlled and is still being tried to be, interfered with. So that's why it's a higher heart mind. It's not that you're forgetting your mind. It's just the heart leads. If you're ever in doubt between your heart and mind and have an argument, your heart knows, okay? It really does. It really, really does. It's the key to all of this, okay? Because it knows things that your mind can just try and comprehend, really. So be like a river. Keep flowing with the expansion and contractions. Feel it all. We are purging a lot what other people can't deal with, okay? We have done this for many lifetimes. We come here for this moment in time. Now is the time to remember what we came here for, what we're here to do. Okay, it's not just sitting there and waiting for something to happen. It's listening to your higher guidance of how you can help to make this happen. Most of all, it's a frequency that we embody of now. Celebration. Okay, it's not expectation, not even attachment. It's celebration of, good things are happening. And even when not so good things are happening, you remember, ultimately, it's always for your highest good. Yeah, that's just how this has worked so far. Now, the least resistance you can have to whatever is happening to you, the more easily it flows through you and you see the bigger lesson and you can move on. Because things will keep coming up until you've learned a lesson. You cannot escape this. Okay, the soul, doesn't matter even if you leave here, you still need to do your soul's lessons. Obviously multiple forever. But let's have a little bit more fun with this now instead of so much dreariness. Humor is the number one thing, okay? Embrace the suffering as much as you do the joy. Of course we want to be happy, but the suppression and not wanting to feel not good is just making it accumulate and you're not dealing with it and it grows and it grows and it grows and this doesn't help anyone. So face it all, just feel it all, let it flow through you and try not to judge it, but do see deeper to see what do you still need to uncover and get here. Yeah. And everybody is ultimately helping you. Every person and character in your life is ultimately helping you to bring in the keys you still need, okay, things you still need to integrate. Yeah. And what I've sometimes said, the biggest assholes are our biggest teachers. And they're just signed up for the lesson. Like, try not to take it personally and just see it as you playing the character in a video game or the film, okay? And yes, it's a crazy film, all right? But let's write a better one. But then we need to understand we have a responsibility of co-creating our realities. And mainly that's done through the frequency we ultimately hold. And 111 right now, where I am, confirms that. Now, see yourself as the avatar in a video game. We have got the power. Live by your virtues and in integrity. Walk your talk. Because that's what clears and heals our blueprint. Like, if you look out there, what's the ultimate problem? It's all the leaders in the world ultimately out of integrity. So we need to come here and be in integrity. And I know it's hard. I mean, obviously, I'm not perfect. I'm not pretending to be perfect. There's always more to do, always more integrity to step into. This is also not about being perfect. Don't have this super high standard of yourself where you're constantly beating yourself with because it's unachievable. No, just try to be the best person you can be every day. And it looks different every day. One day you make quantum jumps. The next day it looks like you're doing 3 steps back. Like, I used to be angry mommy when I went through my really deep clearings and energy attacks and all of that stuff. I would be angry with my anger. I would resent myself, feel bad about myself, what a terrible mother I was. That did not help me one bit. Only when I fully loved it all up and understood why I was the way I was and understood the bigger picture, then could I move on and not be so angry anymore. But until then, it's the catch-22. It's really hard to get out of. But love is literally the only way through it. So, be the change, lead by example. Look where you still need to look deeper. Be that example of what that looks like, self-reflection and, the inner work. Also, don't keep seeing yourself as there's so much more work to do. Quantum healing is possible. So jump there through seeing yourself also fully healed in your fully illuminated light body, plasma light body. You teleporting and bilocating, manifesting out of thin air and so forth. Okay? Or whatever else obviously comes to mind. But generally, it really is right now that you can, what would take a long time before to accomplish is just time as it worked is not the case anymore. It's super accelerated. Everything is compressing into the now moment. Okay? And for me, time is gone since the solstice. Although I keep saying the word. So is the paradox. So, I already said about the judgment. Anyone I've ever judged, I ended up embodying this myself and see it. And then you have to laugh at it, okay? Just laugh at it. Like, even now still, when you're being an asshole, just laugh at it. Oh, I was a bit of an asshole there. I didn't get that right. You don't always need to apologize. Obviously, it's ultimately changed behavior. But we also need to be able to feel remorse and make things right. Depending obviously on the situation. You can also make things right if, for example, you had, an argument with someone who maybe passed on, something unresolved. You can make contact with their soul, or someone who doesn't speak to you, go on, connect with the higher self, from your higher self, and have that conversation. You would be very surprised what you actually get, which ultimately you're making that peace within. But there needs to be a shift within, because ultimately we feel remorse or these twinges of guilt and shame or whatever it is, in order, because it's like your moral compass going on. It's like, because otherwise you are a narcissistic psychopath, and we don't want to be that. So tune into when something is not right. It will niggle on you right now, especially anything not aligned is becoming very loud and clear. So try and just see, without beating yourself up that you're such a terrible person, because you're not. Just see it from a neutral observer perspective, but by, thankfully you have the remorse or that alarm bell going off that what you did was not right, and tell yourself, okay, that wasn't so great, next time I do better, because you are ultimately the one who doesn't feel good when you're angry or upset with someone or get triggered. That's the whole thing. If you don't forgive someone, you're angry or whatever, you are the one feeling it, most of all. So it's in your interest to find forgiveness. And when you don't forgive another person, you're ultimately not forgiving yourself for something. Like, I've been a person, I used to be very hard on myself, and I'm still very, self-reflective, but not from that giving myself a hard time anymore, because I know it has the reverse effect from where I'm trying to get to. It doesn't help you to be a better person, okay? But you need to have the twinge to then make the corrections. That's what it's all about us getting the lesson and making the corrections in behavior to then be the change, the change in behavior, which then ultimately creates different realities. Because, you're not creating harmonious realities if you're not in harmony within yourself. So it all comes back to the inner conflict that is unresolved, that then comes up in our outer reality for us to then, okay, there's a conflict I need to resolve, but ultimately you need to resolve that within yourself. Okay, but obviously with another person is also very beneficial, especially if you want to have a relationship with them going forward. So always ask yourself, for example, if people annoy you that are giving their power away, ask yourself, where are you still giving your power away? We all still have areas where we do this. I know I still have. We all still have some victim program running. It goes deep. So just have a look. Again, don't beat yourself up. This is not about superiority. Only the ego cares. All this vanity stuff goes right out of the window. Really has to go. That's ego nonsense. Like, we integrate the ego, it becomes our friend, okay, but we don't let the ego run the show anymore. We just don't. Our higher self is in charge now, and it doesn't care about what other people think of us, okay, if we trigger them. Again, we do this in the most respectful way possible of speaking our truth, but do not hold back your truth just to be afraid of another person's reaction, them rejecting you, or, triggering them. That needs to stop. If you want people out there to speak the truth, we need to speak the truth. But from a balanced perspective, and we're not trying to push our perspective on anyone or change anyone's mind or preach or convert them, okay? Just stand in your truth. That's all we need to do, really. That's what I do. And it's so important because it's a frequency in the field. It's a frequency. The more truth we can bring in, the more truth we will see. This is all through frequency resonance. What you are radiating as a frequency, you will see more of. Whatever you focus on, you will see more of. Our focus is what feeds these realities. So choose your focus wisely of where you are feeding your sacred life force energy towards. And the same with the truth, where are you, I know, I already said it. So where you're giving your power away, where you're not speaking your truth, and anything can be this. So the forgiveness, if we are still needing to forgive somewhere, okay, whether it's family, friends, an ex-partner, whether it's the Bill Gateses and all these horrible people, the forgiveness is what ultimately sets us free. These are aspects within us we need to further integrate within us as part of the one consciousness, okay, of the one. It's all of these pieces. If you want to unify with Source, God Source, it's all of these pieces. It's a shadow and light which we are merging here. We're not denying the shadow. We're not pushing it away, and we're not kicking it. We're not demonizing it either. We need to unify and integrate and alchemize it. Our biggest insecurities and weaknesses are ultimately our biggest strengths. The things that have been most hardest for us in this lifetime are actually the things that we are here to become an expert on. No? So for example, I had a lot of interference on my spiritual journey. I can speak about this a lot because I know a lot of things about the whole interference and what's going on there and how to transcend it and overcome it. So, you know, it's the same as our strong points can also be our biggest weaknesses. For example, tenacity with me or perseverance. I'm very persevering and tenacious. But ultimately then sometimes I don't know when to give up and when to let stuff go. Okay? So I'm going to try and finish this now. The law of one, one more thing, probably a couple more things, is ultimately unity consciousness. Okay? So it's understanding that what I do upon you, I ultimately do upon myself. So again, cause and effect, it always comes around, okay? And we are all part of the one consciousness in the universal creation. This is why this is all about love and reverence for all life everywhere. And when we really cultivate that love and respect for ourselves, we do ultimately automatically extend it to all life out there. And this is what brings us to the unity consciousness field, the new grid system, which we embody as a frequency. And it's God consciousness, it's Christ consciousness, but it's ultimately, you know, don't do any harm, see yourself and others, and treat others how you want to be treated. This is the law of one, and this is what we're moving into now as a new consciousness. Okay, where everybody understands this on a really deep, intuitive level. That's what I'm seeing. And the more we know, the more responsibility and accountability we have here in co-creating the realities we came here to co-create. And just one more thing on the cognitive dissonance, because we need to obviously transcend this right now. So there's still some little bits of cognitive dissonance in the field, okay, where people are like, they know deep down what the truth is, but they don't want to see, because an underlying belief system that the truth hurts. Because they made it experience that when people in their life, for example, maybe you grew up, your father loved another woman, him telling the truth broke up your family. Yeah, equals truth hurts. So if you would have just stayed quiet about it, your parents maybe would still be together, that kind of thing, okay, from a child perspective. But we all do this on some level, and often subconsciously we have these beliefs running. So we will have then come up with certain mechanisms and behaviors in order to not look deeper and maybe project onto other people. Okay, and we all do this to a certain extent. We all have narcissistic tendencies. We all project onto other people. We just have different, maybe phases in our lives, or, different level of these different attributes. But we all, again, these are all of our pieces. Okay, they're not separate from us. We integrate them and harmonize and alchemize them, okay? They don't run the show. But we also need to be selfish sometimes, for example. So anyway, back to cognitive dissonance. So ultimately it comes back to, if you think about the bigger picture out there, people don't want to see what's actually been going on, although it screams them in the face, is that it's the blame and the shame actually holding them back to look and to say, okay, here, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Because they would need to admit that they have been kind of part of the problem, in a sense. Or they weren't, okay? But you get me. So we need to all see in our own lives, where do I still not want to look at something? Because I have so much blame, a shame running there, which is basically distorted programming. Again, remorse is important. Knowing when there's something you did this wasn't right. But blame and shame and guilt, especially, very religious type of programming, which is keeping you there. And it doesn't allow you to actually look and move beyond it and transform that which you need to look at and transform. And there will always be a reason. I mean, you know, so many things I had to work through the shame of things, because again, it's conditioning and programming, which is telling you in the first place why you should feel that way. But you need to look and feel it to transcend it, to then see, oh no, wait, the way I'm looking at this is all wrong. This is why I did this. It wasn't good that I did that. But now that I understand why I behaved that way, I can change it. But you can only do that if you understand why you behaved the way you did. And you can't do this if you didn't look and actually want to see that you did something that caused harm or hurt another person. Okay, and we all have hurt other people at some point. So same for if somebody hurt you. Try to remember where you maybe hurt another person and then try and forgive, because the forgiveness right now is the key to transcend the shame and guilt, to transcend cognitive dissonance within the field. Really, really key right now, okay? So look at it all, love it all up, self-reflection, super key right now, and then the forgiveness, because that's that forgiveness and that equals our abundance. That's the freedom, that's the liberation. It's all interconnected, okay? Truth, freedom, abundance. So the truth is you really looking and being really true to yourself. And you can't lie to yourself. Well, you can try and lie to yourself, but it doesn't really work anymore. And especially not the source, okay? So, and again, it ain't personal. Only the ego cares. So put that ego somewhere where it can squeak around more quietly. So, I think that's it. Multidimensional embodiment, all and everything is this. Merge, merge, merge. Oh yeah, one more thing. When our higher soul aspects walk in, our environment can feel unfamiliar. So there's mass walk-ins happening for the last few months, but especially again with the solstice, mass, because this is also, you can see it as higher DNA coming online. Okay, the different types of walk-ins, I'm not going to go into this now, but ultimately it's our higher multidimensional DNA coming online. And as this happens quickly, okay, where you have like a huge, basically, expansion, yeah, from your consciousness, it can feel that your environment is a bit unfamiliar, things feel new. I had this now since the solstice every morning. It felt like a new world every day. So that can be the case, or things are a little bit, looks weird or feels weird, although things look the same. It's a feeling. The feeling is the important thing, okay? The reality is lying to you. You need to see the truth and decode your reality, and then override and project onto it what you want to see. Okay, this is what we came for. And also, as we are merging the realities and time and dimension, it's like we're constantly quantum jumping between realities now, as they're aligning and merging and blending. Okay, so you might not see it and understand it again because things look the same, but I also believe what's going to come is that it's like the Mandela effect. Things all of a sudden are different. Maybe things move, disappear. Things pop up that weren't there before, because this is the mending and merging of timelines now, and this will become very multidimensional now, one way or another. Okay, again, every moment, this is so quantum that everything is constantly shifting. Yeah, so not much is set here. That's why we keep making it happen as we're walking our path. And this is, I think, it. Oh yeah. So as to the multidimensional embodiment, be ready to lose your old self. Okay. Keep merging with your future self. What do you feel like? What do you look like? What do you do? Try and merge with that as much as possible. With what if there were no limits to the way you could live your life? Total freedom. And try and align with that as much as you possibly can, okay, in your life now. Merge and align with that reality, and the more quickly that will all come online, okay? So if you want to sing in the future, do more singing. If you want to paint, do loads more painting. You know, even if you're doing a normal job, just try and bring more of that in. Whatever you want to do more of, try and activate those realities, okay? So act as if and align with your new you, the new earth, organic, essential reality, and your new self, and really unify with that reality, especially through the frequency and through the feeling. So whatever that does, even if it's baking or cooking, it makes you feel happy, do that, okay? It's very much about being embodied, not just meditating, okay? Although that's also very important as we bring all these multidimensional selves in. But one more thing to the savior complex that I talked about early on, about, you know, being the savior or the hero or whatever. Ultimately, again, we are all here to play a really important role. And it's for us now to remember what that role and mission is. That's why it's so important to listen to the intuition and guidance, okay? And don't question it. I mean, you can question it, but really, like, just trust your intuition and try not to have your monkey mind override it. Yeah, because that's been a problem so far. So trust that heart. Trust that you are so important. Nobody could do this on their own, but all of us together remembering their part, what they need to play. Okay, you would be surprised of how powerful you are, what a huge difference you make to this reality and the trajectory where we're going and the collective. Like, so much we can't see of what we're influencing and the people we're helping just by being us and speaking our truth. Okay, that's just what this is all about. And the more we can speak our truth, the more we are also aligned to our multidimensional self, the more frequency we hold, and the more of our DNA activates, the more quantum we hold, the more of our keys and codes we retrieve. It's the embodiment of our multidimensional self now. And it's really available. It's just amazing what's becoming available. And all these galactics and angelics and guardians, they are our higher identities. They're not really outside of us. This is what we're merging and integrating with now. Remember your ascended self and merge with that. They don't want us to see them as beyond or above anyway. They learn from us, we learn from them. They are us, we are them. Just, you know, big galactic unification that's happening, cosmic unification, really, of all of these different levels. And, you know, the same as we're not separate from God, we're also not separate from all these beings we have, like, to, you know, listen to channelings or whatever. You are here to channel your own higher identity, your higher self. So go vertical, connect to source, connect to your soul, to your inner wisdom. This is where this is what it's all connected to, and this is what brings everything else online. And ask yourself, what are you supposed to do to make this final quantum leap in the consciousness happen? And wait for the answer. You know, it's the same as before you go to bed. You can ask for, you know, healing to happen, you know, ask for the answers you are seeking, and then see what comes in. You would be surprised, instead of trying to maybe go on Google or try and find a psychic who tells you this. Okay, go internal. This is all about that, because we're here to show that, you know, you don't need a middleman or whatever to connect to God. It's all within us. And embrace old earth in order to move into new earth, because whatever we resist persists, and whatever we fight we feed. So keep remembering this, and transcend and alchemize all remaining fear. It's in your head mostly, really. This is breaking out of the final prison of our own mind. This is really where the remaining matrix residues are held. And the new creatrix is based in love, and you can't feel both fear and love. So remember this, and keep choosing love, okay? It would be my suggestion anyway. It certainly feels better than fear. And again, fear, false evidence appearing real, there's a difference between danger and fear. If you feel you're in danger or something, not to take that flight or not to this or to take that flight or, to call that person or whatever it may be, heed that. That is the, inner guidance that you need to see. Me saying there are no catastrophes, who knows if there's tomorrow, I don't know, a tree falling on your car, all right? I'm just saying. But, your intuition might tell you not to take that road that day. You get me? So we all have our own timelines to run and our own test to pass and our own missions to fulfill. And there are constantly new mission updates, if we didn't have a role to play here, that would be very disempowering, quite frankly. So there must be something for us to do. And again, you don't need to be a healer or do what I do, being a nurse or whatever. And everything is this. This is not what it is about, okay? Anything could be that. Picking up a new hobby or talking to your neighbor, an elderly person or anything. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Or something big, yeah? So imagine your life lived in total freedom, then act as if, as much as possible now, merge with that, total freedom of self-expression. And what would you do if you could do anything? And then go and do that, okay? Because fear is ultimately what is keeping you from everything that you want. And every time you quantum leap and jump, all new realities become available. If you align with your truth and your true self, you align with your highest realities. It's all about alignment with your multidimensional self, your true self, your natural self, what comes natural to you, and not the conditioned self of other people telling you what to do, how to behave, what's right, what's wrong, and all of that, okay? Create your own gnosis, create your own belief system. We all have our own belief systems that we unify now, that are no longer in contrast or in conflict with that of others, okay? But we ultimately all have our own perceptions of reality. So don't gaslight other people's understandings, their experience either, if you don't want yours gaslighted, okay? I think that's it. Just the difference between acting out of fear or inspiration is that when you act out of fear, it feels contracted and controlling, and the other expansive and free. So, it's about when are you reacting out of a trauma response or when are you acting out of inspiration. So ask yourself every time, maybe inspiration or something is coming up, if you're unsure if it's your intuition or fear, that's a good way of discerning which one is which, okay? And again, use your gifts, your abilities. The more you use them, the more powerful you become, and the more of your power, the more of your multidimensional self you're embodying, and the more quantum you're holding, the more your frequency you're anchoring, and the quicker we are ascending here. Okay, so it's all interconnected, and it also brings online the abundance, and it's us bringing together all these puzzle pieces now. Okay, this is now the big puzzle piece coming together. Everything we've ever been through, all the lifetimes. Everything is now merging into one now moment and the final resolution. So I really hope you are awake, aware, you are online with this, and you're making it happen in your own way. Most of all, hold the frequency of the new realities, hold the frequency of the change you want to see in the world, of divine love in action, and be that. And everything else will come to you as and when you need to know it. And anything can change in one moment. Like I had downloads of new projects for New Earth within 10 minutes. This is not about us forcing anything right now to make anything happen. It will just come to us very naturally. The ideas for projects, it's all connected to your DNA and your ancient gifts and abilities. It's like I said, anything that's come to me in regards to energy work really, it's you remembering again. Yes, I did a Reiki course, for example, but I don't do Reiki, that's not how I define my work. But it opened something up for me, and some of that, obviously is still relevant, but mostly not. So this is us remembering again our gifts and abilities. All these new projects are within us and they're coming online, and these are where the instruction sets are. Okay? So release fear. Also now we heal the collective wound of rejection. Lay down your arms and your shields. We are now healing this collectively by embracing ourselves, understanding that only hurt people, but that also doesn't mean that we continue allowing them to hurt. Okay? It's both. And that's where we're here now, where we can put up our boundaries and say no without, having an electric shock fence all around us. All right? Because this is not how we're going to come into unity. We do need to trust. There's a lot of trust. We're not in control here. I see this all happening now. Any moment, also again in no time. So, I just keep being happy in the now moment as much as I can. Get on with it, get busy, enjoy life. And this is how everything comes online. The higher, you can vibrate in a higher frequency you can be, obviously the better. But again, don't avoid any low feelings either. But then just what brings you joy. Be that joy embodied and create what brings you fun. Be with your family, be with loved ones. Enjoy organic life as much as possible. So anchor what you want to see more of as much as possible. And trust in you. Believe in you. When you believe in you, you also believe in God. If you know yourself, you know God, and vice versa. It's interchangeable. It really is one and the same thing. And once you know, you understand what I'm saying. And this is where we're getting to now. Everybody's remembering themselves again as God embodied, that we are one with Source, and that we have a soul. Yes, we do. And we don't need to be afraid of death and disease, okay? And this is also part of the foreign system, which we're moving out of, releasing now fully. So become boundless, become limitless, timeless, rise higher than ever before, stand tall and proud in who you are and your uniqueness. This is all what it is about. There's only one of you here, and only you know what's right for you. Okay? Just one question here. Are there any practices that we should do to access these changes better? Practices to do to access these changes better. As from an energetic perspective, I would need to know a little bit more specifically what you mean by that. Integrating the energies, be out in nature, clear your energy field. I'm not going to go into details now of how to do this. Anchor the energy through you. What comes natural to you? That's just what I would say. Generally, what is your higher self telling you? Instead of you asking me, ask yourself that question. Okay? And that's not now me trying to get out of it easy. This is really what I say to clients as well. Okay? It's you know what would be right for you to do. Okay, you just need to ask your higher self that question, make that connection, and then see what comes up. You would be surprised of all that you know. So I hope this has helped and that you got something out of what I've shared. These are important keys and codes, all of my transmissions. This is a transmission. Your energy field clears and heals. That's also why I'm making more videos now instead of just writing, because there's a whole frequency and code exchange that happens. So it should also assist you in having more balance and equilibrium, harmony, hopefully, within your energetic field. Obviously, there's a lot going on right now. Really look after your body. Loads of water with all of the solar energy. You know what you need. Ultimately, that's also why I don't go through all of these things with all the physical symptoms and what to do, because it does become very repetitive, and other people are doing this as well. Have I studied Aramaic? No, I haven't. But yeah, be present, be open. I see the awakening is here, absolutely massive heart and third eye opening about to occur. It's already, happening, but there definitely feels to be a huge happening imminent. That's all I can say. We have felt this before, yes, but this is, I really feel this is it, and very, very imminent, very much so. So align with that frequency of celebration and awe and wonder. Make it happen for every word, thought, belief, feeling, action you take. Keep listening to your inner guidance, and you will know what you need to know when you need to know it in the now moment. Okay? So thank you so much for listening. Oh yeah, and if you can, please like, share, subscribe. I will post this on my YouTube as well. It really helps me. Also, donations are very welcome, because that's really, I share everything freely. I don't have a Patreon, and I don't do private sessions at the moment. So I leave my link here later for my PayPal for those that can support and who find what all that I share supportive on their journey and want to support me back. So thank you very much, and I wish you the very best. It's Christmas Mass time. Activate those crystals within you. Activate them out there. See yourself crystallizing every cell in your body, carbon turning to crystalline, and talk to your cells, talk to your DNA, talk to your light body. What comes natural to you? Connect with those gifts and abilities within you. Okay? You just need to listen and become silent and really just connect through your heart with your soul. A child can do this. Okay? You don't need any courses, activations, or practices as such. They're all part of it, sure, but ultimately it's something we remember and we can all do, and there's not one right or wrong way to do this. So just a tiny little bit of light language, just to the end, just to clear, heal, balance, harmonize, and upgrade our whole morphogenetic field to the highest divine blueprint available in this now moment across all time and space, merging, unifying all right here, right now, all experiences, realities, dimensions. Esunaye nakera nasuye anatara nakera sukukura nasakera tekenate anasakara sakara yata shukuye nanaya kura sakara tata kenake ataru usu tanayenata ayatsu shukura tara sakarata kena kena sata utunata kena sa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Infinite love and blessings. Bye.